Today, Scourge of the Past, Black Armory's raid was released, and from it, I was able to get a very sought after shotgun. Many people noticed that in the teasers and trailers for Black Armory, there was a new shotgun that had the coveted shotgun perk for PvE, Trench Barrel. The Threat Level Shotgun is that shotgun from the trailers, and it has Trench Barrel on its curated role. I obtained mine after the first engagement, the city portion, from the raid. So I think the first and most obvious thought that comes to everyone's head is, how does this perform, and how does it perform in comparison to the Ikelos Shotgun? Of course, this is a year 2 shotgun with Trench Barrel, which means we can put mods on it, so let's see how that compares to the Ikelos Shotgun, which is year 1 and cannot get mods on it. We're going to start with damage, as I think this is the most important thing. I tested the damage of these shotguns against an Ogre in a Lost Sector on Titan. Of course, the numbers will change in other activities in the game depending on what you're doing, but these results should hold true. One shot of threat level dealt 2,649 damage versus the Ikelos Shotgun's 2,523 damage. Now, there is a small separation in damage here, roughly 5%, because threat level is a kinetic shotgun, and kinetic weapons deal more damage, again, seems like at about 5%. Threat level with major spec on it will deal 2,855 damage, which is roughly a 7.8% bonus, and I believe the same is for minor spec and boss spec. With Trench Barrel active, it deals 3,972 damage per shot versus the Ikelos Shotgun, with Trench Barrel, of course, 3,783 damage. However, with Trench Barrel and a major spec, it will deal 4,281 damage. Now, something really interesting about a kinetic shotgun with Trench Barrel is you can combine that with Disruption Break, which was a perk previously only available on the Ikelos SMG, but is actually now available on other things like the Black Armory Forge Auto Rifle. Against a wizard in another Titan Lost Sector, I dealt 5,958 damage in one shot with Disruption Break and Trench Barrel active. I did make sure, just for the sake of comparison, that the damage was the same against this wizard as it was for the Ogre, and a base shot did still do 3,972 damage with only Trench Barrel active. The next question would be, does this work with Tractor Cannon? And yes, it does. It gets 3,531 damage, as opposed to the Ikelos Shotgun's 3,363 damage, and with Trench Barrel, this would be 5,295 damage, as opposed to the Ikelos Shotgun's 5,042 damage, of course, with the Tractor Cannon debuff and Trench Barrel active. Magazine size is another very important factor with these two weapons in terms of what kind of damage they can put out in a short period of time. The threat level only has a 7 bullet mag, whereas the Ikelos has a better size mag by 1 with 8 shots. This magazine size, combined with the mods that we can put on, makes for a really neat comparison here and a few different scenarios. Threat level with a major spec on it, firing 7 shots with only 3 Trench Barrel shots, so this means you melee and dump the entire mag regardless of the fact that Trench Barrel has subsided and it only works for 3 shots now because of the new nerf to it. So you dump the entire mag, 3 Trench Barrel shots, the rest are normal shots. Out of threat level, with those 7 shots, you will get 24,263 damage. The Ikelos Shotgun, under the same scenario of having 3 Trench Barrel shots, so a melee, activate Trench Barrel, get your 3 shots, and the rest are normal shots, with an 8 bullet mag, equates to 23,964 damage. So they're only about 200 or 300 damage off, barely a difference, even though threat level can get major spec on it, which is really interesting. Under a different sort of scenario though, if we use threat level, meleeing, firing 3 shots, then meleeing again to reactivate Trench Barrel, and then firing 3 shots, then meleeing again, and firing our last shot, so making sure every shot was a Trench Barrel affected shot, we would get 29,967 damage. Compared to the Ikelos Shotgun doing the exact same thing, it would get 30,264. So the Ikelos Shotgun, because of that additional shot, will do better in that scenario than threat level with a major spec. It's only when you put a backup mag on threat level for 8 shots, and of course make them all Trench Barrel affected shots, does it have slightly more damage at 31,776 damage. So this makes an interesting decision of what mod's better based on how you use Trench Barrel. Backup mag is a little bit more versatile. It doesn't have a specific enemy type that you have to go against, but then again, I think most people just melee and dump their mag and don't reactivate trench barrels, so it's ultimately up to you. Unfortunately, in the database, threat level is still classified, so we can't look at specific stats. However, I don't think they're so important. They're pretty much very similar stats. Threat level, because it lacks different barrel options that the Ikelos Shotgun has a little bit less range than the Ikelos Shotgun. However, the threat level, because of its stability masterwork, has a little bit more stability, I guess, to land your shots, and slightly faster reload, which could come in handy as well. Threat level does, however, have Grave Robber, which is an interesting perk. It's certainly better than Moving Target or Threat Detector, in my opinion, on the Ikelos Shotgun, because as much as it's not too much of an added bonus, most people, or most players, when they're melting a boss with a trench barrel shotgun, they'll have a well or lunafactions, something of that nature. But if you're just clearing normal adds, Grave Robber will allow you to proc your trench barrel on a small trash mob and also reload at the same time to continue going in on bigger enemies. So that's a nice small bonus that makes a lot of sense. Damage potential, stats, and perks aren't what make this weapon special though. It's the fact that there are now 2 trench barrel shotguns, one in each slot, that gives you a lot more loadout choice. Using the threat level frees up things like Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl, which can deal a lot of damage for a legendary weapon in PvE. They even open up the curated Nation of Beasts, the Fatebringer type role, which is pretty great as well, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to use, but previously lived in the shadow of the Ikelos Shotgun. You can even use other exotics if you wanted to, like Risk Runner, Hardlight, or Polaris Lance if you really wanted to, or combo it with a Disruption Break auto rifle, like I said earlier, for a pretty interesting combo. This weapon, because Trench Barrel has risen to be such a standard necessary perk for like the best effectiveness that you can reach, has now made more loadouts possible and promoted some loadout diversity in PvE, and for that reason I love this weapon and I'm excited to use it with Luna's Howl and PvE activities. Anyways, that's my review and comparison of the threat level versus the Ikelos Shotgun. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown and comparison. If you are interested in seeing more of this channel, you can hit subscribe, but more importantly, in the description, if you'd like, I have my Twitch channel where you can find me live streaming on a daily basis. I'd greatly appreciate you checking that out, but if it's not of interest, no worries. As always, thanks for watching, guys. It's been Drew here. Won't take any more of your time. I'll see you guys later.